Have you ever wondered why some days you walk into a room and everything suddenly feels heavy, even though no one says a word? Or how just being near a certain person can make your heart feel light, like listening to an instrumental melody?
System warning. We are not medical professionals or licensed counselors. The following saga explores the deconstruction of accepted reality. We provide the keys, but we are not responsible for which doors you choose to open. Once the mechanism is exposed, it cannot be unseen. You are the master of your own mind. You have been warned. He who fights with monsters should look to it that he himself does not become a monster, and if you gaze long into an abyss, the abyss also gaze into you.
There's something quite extraordinary happening right now. You're breathing without thinking about it. Your heart is beating without your permission. Blood is coursing through miles of vessels you'll never see, carrying oxygen to cells you'll never meet. An entire universe of activity is unfolding within you, and you're not doing any of it. Yet, somehow, you've convinced yourself that you're in charge of everything else. This is the magnificent joke we're all playing on ourselves. The same intelligence that coordinates the dance of electrons in your cells is coordinating the dance of events in your life. You are not separate from this intelligence. You are one of its expressions, like a note in a vast symphony. When you try to control everything, you're like a single note. You realize the entire universe has been trying to get your attention, but you were too busy broadcasting your own drama to notice.
Nothing rests. Everything moves. Everything vibrates. Welcome back to Unbound and Out of Place. I'm Jake, and I just want to start by saying I hope everybody's been creating the life they deserve. Creating the life they believe they deserve. I hope all of you have been putting to practice all these lessons in the last 2 episodes. I'm not going to ignore the fact that I've been ghost for the last couple weeks, or MIA, and without warning to boot. Alright, I'll admit, it isn't necessarily fair. I get it, yeah, I know. But I haven't exactly been doing nothing, though, either, so there's that. I've been more or less focusing my time on, well, now that it's getting warmer out here in Iowa, or it's hard to tell, you never know. We got hell 4 seasons in a week, man. I couldn't tell you what's going to happen. Every year we're going to die and something crazy's happening. You know, just, I don't know. Anyways, I've been just focusing my time on getting the KTM ready for the warmer weather because I've been itching to go ride, which I did go ride yesterday. I was able to do that. And I've got a story to tell you. Let me start off by telling you that, well, mostly my time's been wrapped up on trying to hunt down the key that I lost for the bike. I know. Good going, Jake. Fucking dumbass. I shouldn't talk to myself like that. This whole series that we're on right now has been about not talking to yourself like that. But anyways, no, I lost the key. And I've been fighting hell or fighting like hell trying to find an alternative to the key. I mean, I went as far as to I have a blank key here. It's a spare. That's what they technically call it, a spare. But nonetheless, I've got a blank key. I've got the key code that tells the locksmith how to cut it. But it seems that no matter who I've talked to, they've either not the right software to do it, or they don't know how to do it. They can make a copy, for fuck's sakes, but god damn it, Lord help them if they have to fucking start from scratch. The worst part about it is that in order to get a cut key, I would have to go through my dealership, which in a sense would be costing me about $200 because they seem to be under the impression that the model, or that the key that I have is to start the ignition and all that jazz, but it's got a transponder in it, which and it won't start with just a plain cut key, or so they say. And obviously every fucking I'm gonna start that over. That's terrible. I've been going through hell trying to find an alternative than to pay the dealership $200 for a replacement key. And I find the whole thing absolutely fucking silly because I could unplug the barrel that houses the ignition switch where the key, it gets inserted. I can unplug that, throw a jumper wire on the other side of the plug, and bam, hit the button, and damn, that bike starts right up. Yet, on the contrary, I'm told I need $200 because the key has a transponder, quote unquote, and, quote, it won't start with just a plain cut key, end quote. I actually bought a blank spare because I was reading that you can get a locksmith to cut the code so long as you have the code to cut and the right key that you get, or the right key profile. In which I have all the information, but apparently every local shop that I've visited lacks either the equipment or the fucking brain power to do the fucking job. They either don't have the software to pull the code and render a template for it to, or a template for it to be cut to, or they simply just only know how to follow the basic directions on what the piece of paper tells them and has no idea what the fuck actually is going on. I'll tell you what, it's incredibly fucking frustrating. The only thing I heard across the board was that they could make a key if I already had a pre-cut one to copy. In that case, I could have done the same fucking thing with the Dremel. The only difference is that theirs would definitely look a lot cleaner. It's like saying you own a 3D printer, but have no clue how to fucking how it actually works and what it's really doing, or how to create any kind of a CAD design. Then you turn around and offer a 3D printing service because you want to make some extra cash, but only so long as the customer provides the file, the material, and the print settings or the print profile. At that point, I would I would wager that the customer knows more about what's going on in your service than you do, and which is appalling to say the least. But that's not me. That's not my life. I don't. I'm. You know what? If you do that and you make a living off it, by all means, keep at it, buddy. Keep at it. I'm not here to knock the method on making money. I'm here to knock the method on not understanding what the fuck's going on and actually being of use. Like, I'd download the profile. I'd do it all myself if I could, but everything's so secretive now, or everything is such a secret that I have to have buku bucks to be able to make things happen, and that's just absurd. I know I've spent a little time on that, but that's not like technically the only thing that's really kept me busy the last few weeks. It's just been, well, one of the bigger things, but I got it figured out. You see, I should probably tell you, I've also been trying to get a little bit further along on a couple other projects that I've had going on for a while. I'm not going to really I'm not going to give one of them away. Like, I'm not going to give the deets away on one of them because it's a surprise. But for a different kind of project, or for the other project, I'm currently working on getting an AI model injected into my PS4. Why, you ask? Well, even if you didn't ask, I'm going to tell you anyways. Running a local AI model on my own metal takes up far too much of the limited RAM space that's on my computer, or that my computer has available to use, which basically gives me the ultimatum of, do I run the AI on my fucking computer, or do I have room to do work? Not both. So I decided that since I let my PlayStation just sit here and rot away and do nothing but collect dust, I figured, why not? I decided to change its fate. I said, I wanted to repurpose my PlayStation because I don't play video games like I used to. Like, I haven't played video games in a good minute, which is just weird. But it's not. I've been busy in other things. I know that explanation took up way too much time, that we probably should have been more focused on what was really intended for this episode, but you know what? Fuck it. I had to ease my way back into it. And I also got to let you guys know what's going on, if you care. And if you don't, I still got to let you know what's going on, because I want to. But yeah, that's what I've been up to. How about we go ahead and just get right on back into figuring out the concept of how is it to manifest the life we desire. Well, in this episode, it's all about the vibration. No, I'm not talking about the fucking thing that you keep in your drawer or under the bed in a little box. And it isn't the damn phone in your pocket or on the table either. It's more or less the concept of matter that we're going to dive into. Spooky science. No. Can you think back to when I talked about the atom and how the electron is really just a field of probability? You see, this is the reason why we are, technically speaking, made up of mostly or almost entirely empty space. I already know what your smartasses are thinking and getting ready to ask. Well, Jake, if we are mostly empty space, how come we don't fucking fall through the floor or walk through walls? Huh. My reply, you ask? Well, because you literally don't think that you can. You are so convinced of, or not even you, we are so convinced of our own solidity that we know we cannot. And so we don't. And we won't. Hell, we've even gone as far as dissecting things to prove the theory of why we can't before we even get to try. We say, that one man in that book, he did it. Nobody else can. And we leave it at that. It's like believing you know the absolute fact of something, like the bearded dude in the sky, and because of that knowing, you run experiments or analyze thoughts in a way that is biased, or that biases the results, or it influences the results. It's exactly like that dumbass useless item you or I myself have bought because we spent time and money on it. We have to justify it. We convince ourselves we like it and wanted it instead of actually just admitting, yeah, I wanted it, but I was wrong about why I wanted it. That right there is manifesting the boundary of the floor simply by the sheer certainty of our own belief in it. According to the Kabbalion, this principle, it teaches us that nothing rests, everything moves, everything vibrates. Like I said at the beginning. Imagine the atoms in your body, the pulsing of your heartbeat, even the movement of the planets. All are in a constant rhythm. The on and off, the back and forth. This principle is third in the sequence because it builds upon the first two layers. Mentalism, which tells us that the universe is a mental construct. Correspondence, it links the patterns of the macrocosm to the microcosm. So let's get really into this vibrating thing. That sounded so weird. Oops. Because, good vibes are not just some hippy dippy catchphrase. It's literally the law of the land. It's literally the waves that we get on our measuring devices, that we get when we talk, the everything. It's just a wave. Think about it this way, okay? Everything is just a different speed of the same damn thing. A block of lead and a beam of light are made up of the same subatomic soup. The only difference is how fast those little bastards are moving. When you change the rate of vibration, you change the nature of the thing. It's like a ceiling fan. When it's off, you see the blades solid. When it's cranked to the max, the blades disappear into a blur of whirring energy. Did the blades stop existing? No, not really. They're just shifted their state. As in, they're not in one spot, like that of an electron. This is where it gets real for you and me. Your thoughts, those are vibrations too. Your emotions, pure frequency, baby. When you're stuck in a low vibration, like anger, shame, or that I can't find my fucking KTM key frustration, well, we are literally tuning our internal radio to a station that only plays garbage. You see, you can't hear the solution or the abundance broadcast if you're dialed into everything sucks frequency. It's like trying to listen to 102.7 FM while your dial is stuck on 88.1. You aren't unlucky, you're just tuned to the wrong fucking channel. I get tuned into the wrong fucking channel. We all do. Some longer than others. Some more than others. But you see, the thing is, we have to learn how to grab that dial and force the needle to move. You don't get what you want, you resonate with what you want. You receive what you believe that you desire, so long as you are believing what you desire in the state of which it had been fulfilled. That was a mouthful. That was a wrong way to say that. I wanted to throw up. I'm sorry. If you want a different life, you have to stop vibrating like the person who's stuck in the old one. Raising or lowering your frequency or your vibration isn't about floating off the ground or reaching some holy state of nirvana. It's about density and speed. All right, so if we think about low vibration, we should think about it like the difference between ice and steam. You see, when you're stuck in a heavy emotion, like, fear or the comment, I can't do that, I just can't. Basically means you're in a frozen
sees the same lock and feels curious, or different. He feels, he doesn't have to feel curious, but he doesn't feel stuck. He doesn't feel like he doesn't feel in a low vibration for him. Now let's imagine the person with the high frequency. They see the same lock, the same door not opening, except they might feel curious. To them, the fact of the door or the locked door is just a signal to look for the side entrance or a window or a fucking phone number. They aren't fighting the lock, they're already vibrating at a speed of the result, being inside. So they start looking for ways on how they can accomplish what they came to accomplish, not just, well, there's something in my way and I can't move unless that thing moves. But and this is why nobody can accurately claim to know someone else's vibration. You see, I know I gave an example of it, but in truth be told, that's just an assumption. See, you might hear someone say, "This is fucking stupid," and assume they're just bitter or complaining, or they lack any sort of intelligence or whatever. But what you don't know is the intent behind the words. You don't know if they are speaking from a place of the poor me or from a place of I'm about to outsmart this entire fucking system. It's the same words and the same truth, but one keeps you hitting the floor while the other lets you walk right through the fucking wall. To change your frequency, you have to stop reinforcing the fact that things are difficult. Most people wait for life to get better before they decide to feel better. That's like waiting for a cold room to get warm before you turn on the heater. You have to set the internal temperature to the result you want before the environment catches up. If you're waiting for the proof to change your mood, you're just sitting in the cold wondering why the air hasn't shifted yet. In practical terms, dear listeners, mastering the third principle allows one to raise or lower their own mental and emotional states, attuning themselves to higher vibrational energies or shielding from lower. It's the bridge between thought and manifestation. Ooh, I just got like tinglies. My hair stood up when I said that. So as we move forward, keep in mind how these pieces start to fit together. Or not start, but are fitting together. See where we started? It was with the mind. It was the source of everything. Then learned to recognize the pattern of as above, so below in our daily lives. And now the third principle brings it all to life. It's the engine that reminds us the universe is never static. It doesn't stop. It's a constant movement. You can either fight it or harmonize with it. But while we've learned how to set our own speed, we haven't quite yet discussed the natural swing of the world. What happens when the momentum shifts back against you? That is the mystery of the fourth principle of polarity. Stay tuned. I will thank you for listening through that. I hope this definitely gives you some more food for thought. And I hope this helps find your way to stop being a fucking victim. I hope you can find your way to stay unbound and purposefully put yourself out of place, because sometimes that helps. Until next time, stay classy. Doodles.
The void you fear is actually the most generous space imaginable.